You know, when you think of a first lady, a certain image probably pops into your head. But what if that role was completely flipped on its head by someone who just refused to give up the job she loved? Today, we're going way beyond the title to really understand Dr. Jill Biden, the educator, the advocate, and yeah, the driving force behind some of America's most personal public missions. And let's just start right here, because this is a really big deal. This is a historic first, and it's so much more than just a trivia question. By keeping her job as a community college professor, Dr. Biden totally changed the game for what a first lady could be. It was like she was saying, my professional life doesn't just stop because my path led to the White House. And that challenged like a century of tradition.
So that brings us to the big question we're going to tackle. How did her identity as a teacher, something she built over decades, literally become the blueprint for her work on the national stage? How did it shape everything from supporting military families to leading the fight against cancer? To really get Dr. Biden, you have to start in the one place that defined her, the classroom. She said it herself, being a teacher isn't just what she does, it's who she is. She even called it the work of her life. And honestly, her career totally proves it. I mean, just look at this timeline. This shows some serious persistence, right? This wasn't some short-term gig. We're talking a 4-decade commitment. From her first degree back in '75, getting multiple advanced degrees, and then earning her doctorate in 2007. And get this, that 15-year stretch at Northern Virginia Community College, she kept doing that job even as second lady and then as first lady. That's just an incredible dedication to your profession. And this quote, man, it really gets to the heart of why she does it. For her, teaching wasn't just about grading papers or giving lectures, it was an act of pure hope. It was about passing the torch, believing that the next generation could actually build a better world. And that optimism, you're gonna see that pop up in all of her public work. And she was especially drawn to community colleges. She once wrote that her students there, they cared about education in a way that people who never had to fight for it just couldn't understand. She saw their struggle, she saw their grit, and she felt like it was an honor just to be a small part of their story. Okay, so how did this lifelong educator take all that passion from her classroom and bring it to the entire country? Well, she focused on communities she knew from the inside out. Military families, and people whose lives have been turned upside down by cancer. First up, joining forces. Now, this wasn't a totally new idea. She and Michelle Obama actually kicked it off way back in 2011. But as First Lady, she brought it back with a laser-focused mission to support the people who serve right alongside our service members. We're talking the spouses, the kids, the caregivers, the whole support system. And this initiative wasn't about vague promises. It went after specific, real-world problems. They focused on the shocking 22% unemployment rate for military spouses, which is a huge issue when you're constantly moving. They looked at the unique school challenges for over 2 million military kids and the incredible stress on the health and well-being of these families. These aren't just policies, they're absolute lifelines. And running right alongside her work for military families was another, deeply personal and just as ambitious mission, the goal to end cancer as we know it. This would really become a defining pillar of her public life, something she had been fighting for decades. So when she and the president reignited the cancer moonshot, it came with some serious action. They helped create ARPA-H, this brand new agency for high-risk, high-reward health research. They pushed for prevention by going after things like forever chemicals, put a spotlight on women's health research, and, this is huge, they made patient navigation services reimbursable for the first time, helping people find their way through the maze of cancer care. And if you want to talk about real-world impact, just look at this number. The pandemic caused a massive dip in routine cancer screenings, while the Moonshot Initiative helped the country catch up on 10 million of those missed screenings. That is a huge win for early detection that, no question, saved lives. So we've seen the what, right? The teaching, joining forces, the cancer moonshot. But to really truly understand Dr. Biden, you have to get the why. These weren't just random policy choices. They came directly from her own life. Her passion for military families wasn't just theoretical. She was a military mom. Her late son, Beau, was a major in the Delaware Army National Guard. She lived through the worry of deployment. She understood the sacrifices firsthand. That personal connection is what gave joining forces its power and its heart. And her fight against cancer? That also started long before the White House. It began way back in 1993 in Delaware. After 4 of her close friends were all diagnosed with breast cancer, she didn't just feel sad. She started an entire initiative to teach high school girls about early detection. This has been her cause for decades. But as so many families know all too well, the fight against cancer can suddenly shift from a public cause to a deeply private, personal battle. And this timeline, it really lays it all out. It starts in 1993 with her grassroots initiative. Then the unthinkable happens in 2015 with the loss of their son Beau to brain cancer. And then in 2022, as First Lady, the cancer moonshot is reignited with new passion. You can just see the direct line from unimaginable personal pain to a national mission to make sure other families don't have to go through the same thing. So you might think, after her time as First Lady, after retiring from teaching, that would be it, right? But no, her work didn't stop. It just evolved, carrying the same core missions that have defined her entire public life. In May of 2025, she took on a brand new role as the chair of the Women's Health Network at the Milken Institute, which is a nonpartisan think tank. And what's her focus? Well, it's leading their new network dedicated to women's health. And this new role is basically a direct sequel to her work in the White House. It's a continuation of that big initiative on women's health research she launched, and it builds on major investments to help close the research gap and get better health outcomes for women everywhere. So we end here. From a community college classroom to the White House and now beyond, Dr. Biden's story is really one of nonstop service, shaped by her professional passion and some really profound personal experiences. It kind of leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? What does it really mean to build a life of service? And how does that work keep going long after the official titles are gone?